Before we begin, take a moment to support the channel. If you're interested in real crime stories, unsolved disappearances, and cases that still raise questions today, make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Now, let's begin.
On the night of May 13th, 2008, a 19-year-old college student named Brandon Swanson vanished in rural Minnesota. There were no witnesses, no security cameras, no signs of violence. But there was something far more unsettling. Brandon didn't disappear alone. He vanished while speaking to his parents, live, over the phone. What began as a simple request for help after a minor car accident would turn into one of the most haunting disappearances in modern American true crime history. Brandon Swanson was a freshman at Minnesota West Community and Technical College. He was known as responsible, polite, and close to his family. The kind of young man who checked in. The kind who didn't take risks without telling someone. That night, after finishing spring semester exams, Brandon attended a small gathering with friends. Sometime after midnight, he decided to drive home to Marshall, Minnesota. He never made it. Instead, his car ended up stuck in a ditch, somewhere in the darkness of rural farmland. Confused about his location but calm enough to call for help, Brandon dialed his parents. What followed was a 47-minute phone call that would later become infamous. A call filled with uncertainty, with miscommunication, with growing fear. And it would end with 3 words that still echo nearly 2 decades later. Oh shit. Then the line went dead. Brandon Swanson was never seen again. At approximately 1:54 a.m., Brandon Swanson called his parents, Brian and Annette Swanson. He told them he had driven into a ditch after taking what he believed was a familiar gravel road. The car was damaged, but he was unharmed. He didn't sound intoxicated. He didn't sound panicked, just confused. Brandon believed he was near the town of Lind, Minnesota. Based on that assumption, his parents got into their car and began driving to pick him up. They stayed on the phone with Brandon the entire time. As they drove, they flashed their headlights. They honked the horn. They called out his name. But Brandon couldn't see them, and they couldn't see him. Slowly, it became clear that Brandon wasn't where he thought he was. At some point, Brandon decided to leave his car and walk toward what he believed were nearby lights. He told his parents he could see a town in the distance. He said he was walking along a gravel road, then across fields. Minutes passed, then more minutes. Brandon mentioned hearing running water. He talked about fences. He talked about obstacles. His parents urged him to stay put, to stop walking, to wait for them. But Brandon kept moving. For nearly an hour, the call stayed connected. No shouting, no struggle, just footsteps and breathing. Then suddenly, Brandon said, "Oh shit." The phone went silent. Despite repeated attempts, the call never reconnected. Brandon Swanson was gone. By sunrise on May 14th, 2008, the search for Brandon Swanson was underway. His parents led authorities to the area where they believed Brandon had crashed his car. Hours later, his vehicle was found, stuck in a ditch near Porter, Minnesota. Not near Lind, not near Marshall. Brandon had been wrong about his location from the very beginning. The car showed no signs of a violent crash. No blood, no damage suggesting high speed. Inside were Brandon's wallet, glasses, and personal belongings. Everything pointed to one thing. Brandon had left the car on his own. Search teams began combing the surrounding farmland. Miles of open fields, ditches, creeks, barbed wire fences. Dogs were brought in. Helicopters scanned from above. Volunteers walked shoulder to shoulder through thick grass and muddy terrain. But nothing was found. No footprints, no clothing, no phone. Investigators focused heavily on the final phone call. Brandon had mentioned hearing water. He had described fences. He had been walking for nearly an hour in total darkness. It was possible, even likely, that Brandon had crossed onto private farmland, possibly into an abandoned area rarely visited by anyone. And if something had happened out there, no one would have seen it. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into years, the case grew colder. With no evidence of foul play, investigators were left with theories. One possibility was accidental death. Brandon may have fallen into a creek or drainage culvert. Heavy vegetation and fluctuating water levels could have hidden his body. Another theory suggested hypothermia. Minnesota nights can be unforgiving. Disorientation, exhaustion, and darkness can quickly turn fatal. Some wondered if Brandon had encountered an unseen hazard. An abandoned well, a collapsed culvert, a hidden drop in the land. But there was one haunting detail investigators could never fully explain. The phone. Despite being on the call for 47 minutes, Brandon's phone was never recovered. No pings, no final location, just silence. There was no evidence Brandon met another person, no signs of a struggle, no motive for foul play, and yet, his complete disappearance felt impossible. People don't just vanish into open farmland, unless something went terribly wrong. More than 15 years have passed since Brandon Swanson vanished into the darkness of rural Minnesota. 15 years of unanswered questions. 15 years without a single confirmed trace. No remains have ever been recovered. No clothing. No phone. No final location. Just silence. Brandon Swanson didn't disappear in secrecy or isolation. He didn't vanish without warning. He disappeared while doing what anyone would do, calling for help. That final phone call continues to haunt everyone who hears it. For 47 minutes, Brandon's parents listened as their son walked through the night. They heard his footsteps, his breathing, his calm voice slowly edged with confusion. And then nothing. The call didn't end with a scream. There was no struggle, no sound of another person. Just 3 words, spoken softly, but with sudden urgency. Oh shit. Investigators have replayed those final seconds countless times. Was it fear? Was it surprise? Did Brandon trip? Did he fall? Did he suddenly realize where he was? No one knows. The land where Brandon vanished is vast and unforgiving. Fields stretch for miles. Drainage ditches cut through the soil. Creeks swell and shrink with the seasons. Culverts hide beneath tall grass. Some areas are rarely, if ever, visited by anyone. It is entirely possible that Brandon is still there, hidden in plain sight, just beyond where searchers once stopped. His parents believe that something was missed. That one overlooked detail, one unsearched area, holds the answer. And they refuse to stop asking questions. Because Brandon didn't run away. He didn't start a new life. He didn't choose to disappear. He was a 19-year-old college student who thought he was close to home, who trusted that help was coming, who believed he was doing the right thing. The tragedy of Brandon Swanson isn't just that he vanished. It's that he was never truly alone, and yet no one could reach him. Somewhere in the quiet fields of Minnesota, the truth still exists, waiting, unchanged, undisturbed. And until that truth is found, Brandon Swanson's final words will remain one of the most chilling moments in American true crime history. Not because of what he said, but because of what followed. Silence. As the screen fades to black, the story of Brandon Swanson remains unfinished, hanging in the quiet air of the Minnesota prairies. For his parents, Annette and Brian, every sunset has been a question, and every sunrise a prayer for 14 long years. This video is not just a collection of facts or a timeline of events. It is a tribute to a life that mattered. Brandon was more than a voice on a phone or a name in a police file. He was a son whose laughter is still missed at the dinner table, a friend whose absence is a constant shadow, and a young man whose potential was as vast as the stars he looked up to that final night. To the Swanson family, your resilience is a testament to the power of a parent's love. Your courage in turning your tragedy into Brandon's law has saved countless others, ensuring that no other family has to wait in the agonizing silence of those first few hours. You have turned your pain into a shield for the vulnerable. Though the fields of Marshall still hold their secrets, they cannot hide the love that continues to search for him. We share your hope. We share your grief. And through this digital memory, we ensure that Brandon's name is never whispered in forgotten hallways, but spoken with clarity and honor. May the answers you seek find their way home. May the peace that surpasses all understanding rest upon your hearts. Brandon, you are gone from our sight, but you will never be gone from our hearts. We remember you today, tomorrow, and always.
If you want to keep uncovering the mysteries that linger in the shadows, don't forget to subscribe. Your likes help these cases reach more investigators, and your comments might just be the clue that leads to the truth. Stay curious and stay vigilant.